Thank you very much for helping to record. This is ESI 4. Welcome back to class 8. Today we will be doing chapter 7. Hi, Emerald. Emerald, please remind me. I want to answer your question again. The question that you asked, okay, after the class. Okay, so I invite you to close your eyes and let us set our motivation. Focus on your breath for a while until you hear from me again. Invite you to think about the problems, the challenges in your life right now. And think about the perfect world that you like to see. Try to bring your motivation higher to become a Sema Kebu that will be able to really help others in a deep and ultimate way, to be free from all suffering, and to really be able to help others in a deep and ultimate way. And that is love, and that is out of compassion. We want to become a Sema Kebu. And recognize that what we are going to learn today will help us to get from where we are right now to where we want to be, the perfect world. And because everything is empty, and therefore it's possible, because it's coming from our mental seeds. And make a commitment, make a promise that you will try to use what you are going to learn today to help make this perfect world. And that motivation is very important. It's a key factor that will bring us to reach this perfect world. So just make a promise, make a commitment that you will try. You will try and put it in your life and use it. And in some way, will be able to help others in a deep and ultimate way too. With that motivation underlying our conversation today, let's start our class. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. Okay, chapter 7 is on material cause of the mind. I'll show my slide. Today we are going to learn this word, ngalan gigu, material cause. Okay, ngalan gigu, material cause. Okay, let's take the example of planting a tree. I need soil, right? I need soil, then I put this seed. I put the seed in the soil, and then I put water, and then I give it some sunlight, and I give it some nutrients. And after some time, I see the sprout. The green color, this one, I see the sprout. Let's call it a tree. Okay? So, material cause is the thing that flop over into the result. Material cause, ngalan gigu, is the stuff, is the thing that flop over into the result. So, which one? Which one is the material cause? You want to type in the chat? So we learn ngalan gigu is the thing that flop over into the result. So just like I mentioned about I need the soil, I need to put the seed, I need to put water, I need to give it sunlight and give it nutrients. Yeah. What is the ngalan gigu? Everyone have to type. Okay. Huh? Wow. Okay. Wow. Okay. Okay, good. So the material cause is the thing, then flop over and become the result and then disappear, which means it would be the main thing. Yeah, the main thing would be the seed. KL Wong say, oh, yeah, we need everything. Okay, but the main thing, the thing, we call it the material cause, is the thing that flop over, that turn into the result and then disappear. So it is the seed. Okay, it is the seed. Now, what about just now other things like soil, water, sunlight, nutrients? What are they called? They are called kian. I type in the chat, huh? Kian. Kian is secondary factor. Do we need them? Yes. But they are not the main thing. They are not the thing that flop over into the result. Okay? KL? Wong. Okay. So they are the secondary factor. They affect the quality of the result. They affect the quality, but they are not the thing that turn into the tree. They are not the thing that flop over into the result. Okay, so Ngelang Gigu is very, very important concept. Okay, I want to show this one. So what is the material cause of the mind? We are going to investigate where our mind comes from, and we start out with understanding Ngelang Gigu. Ngelang Gigu is the material cause, the thing that turn into something, like the seed become the tree. As opposed to Kien. Kien is the secondary factor. They affect the result, but they are not the material cause. They are not the thing that flop over into the result. Okay? So there's one thing very important, just like I just mentioned, I mentioned a few times, the material cause is the thing that flop over into the result. That's point number one. Point number two, the result must resemble the cause. The result must resemble the cause. The similarity between the cause and the result. There is similarity between the result and the cause. Cause and result and the cause. For example, when I put the seed, papaya seed, I expect to get a papaya tree. I'm not waiting for mango tree. And when I put a mango seed, I'm expecting a mango tree. I'm not expecting a papaya. Okay. It seems using planting the tree would be easier for us to understand. And when we investigate, we keep on holding on to this idea. Okay, so there are 2 points there I mentioned. Okay, now I want to test you already. Okay, before that, okay, let's do this one first. One more example. So the clay turned into the clay pot. So the material cause or Ngelang Gigu of this clay pot is the clay. Right now, the clay flop over and turn into the result. Right now, flop over into the result. Right? And then the result resemble the cause. And this is in your question number 1. Ngelang Gigu, which I already covered just now. The rest, the one I circle one, they are called Kien. They are secondary factor. They affect the result, but they are not the material cause. They are not the thing that flop over into the result. Now, because Ngelang Gigu is so important, type in the chat, everybody, Ngelang Gigu. Type the word so that you remember. It will help you to remember Ngelang Gigu. Angela, your Gigu. Ngelang Gigu. Don't think I never read. I got read. Raymond, your Gigu also. This is a very important concept. I remember for ACI4, I don't remember a single thing, but I remember this one because it's very important. Okay, hope everybody have typed. Anybody never type, I need a monitor in the class. Last time I used to be a monitor. They always say, hey, monitor. Hey, where got monitor in the Dharma class? You think this is a primary school? Okay. I know who didn't type. Okay. Okay, so ngayon give you. So then we want to investigate. We want to investigate the first moment of awareness in this life. The first moment of awareness. Where does this first moment of awareness in this life come from? Does it have a cause or not? The first moment of awareness, because we say, oh, this is mine, right? Okay, let's talk about the very first moment of awareness in this life. Does it have a cause or not? Yeah, we studied in previous chapter many times. We keep on talking about the mind, the mind. Yeah, yes, yeah, very good. Yes, right. We say, yeah, there's a cause. I know there's a cause. How I know there is a cause? Because I know the mind is a changing thing, right? We say the mind change. I just changed my mind. Okay. Okay, you're happy, then you're not happy, then you're happy again, then not happy, then disappointed, then angry, then frustrated. The mind change. The changing thing has a cause. Okay, changing thing has a cause. And if you want to understand in very detail about changing thing and all these things, you listen to the previous class. Okay, so I won't go into that again. Okay, so we know that the mind, the first moment of awareness, has a cause for the fact that we know the mind change. The mind varies. The things that change, that varies, they have a cause. The energy fluctuate. Why they fluctuate? Because there is a cause. You can see the mind change, right? You can see all the expression. So we know the mind has a cause, and we want to find out then what is the material cause? What is the material cause? We link to just now the first part, we learned Nyelang Gigyu. Second part, we confirm the mind has a cause. We want to investigate what is the material cause, the Nyelang Gigyu of the first moment of awareness. Today we are going to talk about this only. We are going to focus on that. And so, Kedrop J, do you know Kedrop J? The other main disciple of J. Tsongkhapa. He is a very, very brilliant scholar. He wrote many, many famous commentary on secret teaching, which I don't know. Okay, I just know that he is the lineage holder for the secret teaching. Guess here, left or right is Kedrop J. If left, you put L, right, you put R. Yeah, from the picture.
Can you show the picture again?
Huh?
Can you show the picture again? Too small to see.
Okay, show the picture. The one I point here will be left lah, huh? The one I point here will be right. We no need to say on J Tsongkhapa left. No, no need like that. Okay, either left or right only. Yeah. Ta-da! The answer is, let me see, who got it correct? Let me see. Oh, okay, Angela, can I stop the picture or you still need to see the picture? Huh? Can I stop the picture? Can I stop the sharing? The picture is too small. You're muted. Stop sharing,
Maybe you point which one is left, which one is right, then I can tell.
Now I point already. This one is left. This one is left. Okay, and then this one is right. Okay. So, okay, let me see who got it correct. Wow, incredible. Wow, Raymond got it correct. Wow, Raymond got it correct. Jaslyn correct. Rache also correct. Zane correct. Kia Wong correct. Okay, Emery is very honest. You say, I don't know. Okay. Wow, you guys so incredible. Okay, so that is quadrant J. And then he say, let's find out, let's investigate where the first moment of consciousness comes from, okay? And we are going to investigate and we are going to look at all knowable things. Oh my God, all knowable things. Okay, he say, let's look at all knowable things called Sheja. She is know, Ja is thing, Sheja. Sheja means all knowable things, everything in the universe. Okay, we are going to investigate and find where the first moment of consciousness in this life come from. What is the material cause? What is the thing that flock over into this first moment of consciousness in this life? Okay, so we look at Sheja, all knowable things. We learn that all knowable things means that changing thing, you can divide into changing thing and unchanging thing, right? So takpa and mi takpa. Takpa and mi takpa. Takpa is unchanging. Mi takpa is changing. Don't get confused, huh? I always get confused, but now finally I got it already. I always the other way around. Takpa and mi takpa. Okay, let's investigate. So the question is, we first look at unchanging takpa. Is the first moment of consciousness come from an unchanging thing? No way. No way. Why no way? Because we know, obviously, how can an unchanging thing cause a changing thing? Cannot, right? Doesn't make sense, right? We already said the mind is a changing thing, right? Right? The mind is a changing thing. How can an unchanging thing cause a changing thing? Impossible, no way. Unchanging thing cannot cause a changing thing. Because by causing it, it has to change. Right? By causing it, you have to change. So this one is out already. This is in your question 3. Okay, so we eliminate. We get rid from through the process of elimination. Character J, eliminate takpa. Cannot be unchanging thing. No way. Then we are going to look into changing thing. We are going to look into changing thing. So changing thing can be divided into physical thing or mental thing. Physical or mental or mind. So let's zoom in into physical. Okay, so physical. Okay, first, what is the definition of physical? Anything that I can show as physical thing. Okay, physical matter consists of atom. Okay, physical matter is not clear and aware. So we want to zoom in into physical matter can be divided into sense power and outside matter. Okay, physical matter can be divided into Wangpo, or they also call it physical living matter. Physical living matter, or we call it the sense power. What is sense power? Sense power we learned before, right? We have 5 sense power.
Nice. No.
Okay, the sense power. So physical living matter is our sense power. It's called Wangpo. So we want to investigate whether is it all the 5 sense power or only one of them. Okay, let me rephrase the whole thing again to make it clear for you. We want to find out that where does our first moment of consciousness come from? So we look at all knowable things. Okay, Kedrop J say, look at all knowable things. And then we know all knowable things. We have takpa and mi takpa. And then we know that they cannot come from unchanging thing, impossible. How can an unchanging thing cause a changing thing? So we cross out. And then we look at changing thing. Changing thing can be divided into physical matter. And the other one I cover up. I don't want you to look at that first. And the other one is mind, physical, either physical thing or mental thing, right? So physical thing can be divided into physical living matter. In another word will be sense power, the 5 sense power, or outside matter, which is the 4 element. Outside matter, which means the 4 element. It's called chi sup. Okay, so you can see that we keep on zoom in. Okay, physical matter, we go on this line first. We are going to investigate, does our first moment of consciousness come from physical matter, come from our sense power? Does it come from all the 5 sense power together? Okay, the first moment of consciousness come from the, okay, I'll cover that, Angela, later on, the 4 element. So the 5 sense power together cause our first moment of consciousness. If that is the case, then a person who is blind will lose their mind. If 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is the cause of our first moment of consciousness of our mind, then when a person lost their eye power, become blind, they will lose their mind.
If they lost their eyes, their mind is still there, but they will not lost their mind.
That's why, so it is not the ngelengigu.
So it's not the first
element. It is not the ngelengigu. Yeah, very good. Yeah. So we start to think, not correct. Yeah. If a person who is deaf lost their hearing, they don't lose their mind also. We see that they don't lose their mind. So it is not the ngelengigu. Somebody who is mute, cannot talk, also never lost their mind. So it is not the ngelengigu. Okay, so we are okay with that. We think, okay, that makes sense to me. I'm okay with that. I can cancel that. So I cancel the sense power, all the sense power. Then we want to zoom in and look at any one of the sense power, just one only. We just take one, any one. Okay, let's look at this one. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's take the first one, the eye. If our mind come from our eye, right? Just come from only one. Then our mind should be able to see vividly color and shape. As when I look at you directly with my eye. Why? Because we say ngeleng gigu, the result must resemble the cause. There must be similarities. So if this is coming from the eye, if the mind is coming from the eye, then they should be able to see vividly, see with clarity, like you are looking directly. So we want to do an experiment now. So we can look at anybody here. You just pick anybody. Okay, look at somebody. Then now close your eyes. Can you see that person, whoever you pick, clearly, vividly or not? No, wait for me. I don't know about you. Then open your eyes again. Hi, it's different, eh? Okay, then close your eyes again. I cannot see that. I cannot see. They lack that kind of clarity. They don't have the quality of the sense power. They don't have the quality of the eye at all. Right. So you can prove to yourself. You can experiment. Okay. Close your eye. If it comes from my eye, but I cannot see clearly, vividly, as when I see directly with my own eye. So as you can, your hearing or taste, you can you in your mind taste the same food? It's the different, right? It's not the same. Very interesting. Huh? I find that now we are like scientists. Huh? Okay. The Gelugpa is like scientists. Huh? Wow, we never thought about that. Okay. So I did a summary on that. And this is on your question 4. Okay, are you guys okay on this one? Okay. Type 1 if you're okay. If not, then you can want to give you a little bit more time to think about that. Okay, I can share the screen and let you think. If you cannot get it, don't feel everybody got it. It's okay, it takes time. Okay, can somebody read this paragraph? Why can't the cause of your mind at birth be the living physical matter? Let's look at the answer. Does anybody want to read for me?
I can read lah.
Yeah, please.
All living physical matter is involved if one or more of the sense powers. If living physical matter were the cause of your mind at birth, then it would either be one or a combination of the sense powers which was causing this mind. The mind cannot have come from any one of the senses alone, since if this were the case, then the person who lacked this sense, such as a blind or deaf man, could never have a mind. The mind cannot either have come from either one, from all the senses together, or from some combination of them. Because in this case, a person who lacked any of the sense powers involved could never then have a mind. Additionally, if mind were materially caused by the senses, it would have to possess the qualities of the senses. One would have to be able to see if the memory, for example, as clearly as one does with the eyes.
Okay, thank you, Angela.
Welcome.
Okay, So just a quick recap, right? We say cannot come from the five. If come from the five, cause the mind is the material cause of the mind. Then a person who lost their eye power, blind, would have no mind, would lost their mind, which is not true. You see the Angela just, she said, hey, how come I see the person still go, yeah, exactly. So that's eliminate that. Okay, so as people who are deaf or mute and etc. And then what about either one only? Either one. So we say, okay, I, just the I. Okay, if the mind, the first moment of consciousness is from the I power, then we should be able to see clearly in our mind. We can just close our eyes and experiment, but we cannot see clearly as vividly as when we see with our own eyes. So we can experiment. So I experiment that in the afternoon just now. Then you open your eyes and to prove to yourself, to give yourself more confidence. Yeah, give yourself more confidence. Oh, yeah, I really cannot see. I never thought about that, you cannot see as vividly. You cannot see with that kind of clarity as you did with your eyes, directly. So that eliminate both of them. So sense power is out already. We are like playing games, like Running Man. Okay. So, okay, cancel. Okay, where is this one? I need to cancel. Not chat. That one cannot cancel. Okay, the next one, when we look at the physical thing, the other side of that is the outside matter. Outside matter. 4 elements. Just now Angela asked, what is the 4 element? Raymond already answered for me. Thank you. Yeah. Wind, fire, earth, and water, correct. Sachu melong. If you notice that Krishna always say Sachu melong. Sachu melong. Sachu melong is the 4 elements. Okay, I show you, I get this. Actually, in the next class, it is mentioned Sachu melong, but I go and take from there. Okay, it is in the next class. Sa, chu, me, long. Earth, water, fire, and air. Earth, water, fire, air. Sa, chu, me, long. What is that? The 4 element is actually a metaphor. It is the basic type of energy. Basic type of energy. Okay, let's look at the earth. Earth, sa, means solidity. Solidity. It is the metaphor for the energy creating the solidity or the hardness of the world. Okay. Water will be chu, wet and flowing, and the energy behind the wetness of the world. So earth will be solidity, water will be wetness and flowing. It's the energy, the basic energy. Fire, may, hot and burning. There's some heat, right? The energy behind the heat. Air is a lung, light and moving. Light and moving, very light and moving. Sa chu me long is the energy underlying all physical matter. Okay, I got a question to ask. Does the table has sa chu me long or not? What do you think? I can see Raymond nod his head. Does the table has sa chu me long? Yes, there's some solidity. there is some wetness, some moisture. Yeah. Then there is a heat. There is a heat. There's a heat in the thing. And then there is light and moving. We cannot see with our eye, but the atom, right now, we look at the thing, it's like moving. So I would say that they have all the four elements. What about water? What about the water in the river? Does it have Sachu Melong? Yeah, K. Wong say yes. The water in the river got Sachu Melong or not? Justin say yes. Yeah, let's look at it. We have solidity. Even though it's a water, right? There's some solidity, Yeah, okay. Then there's wetness, we know, wetness. And then there is heat. Yeah, you can measure the temperature. There's a temperature there, right? Yeah. And then there's the last one to be lightness and moving. Yes, it is. Okay. So Sachu Melong. There is Sachu Melong in the water in the river. Okay, so it is a basic type of energy. It's a metaphor for the energy. So we want to look at, in that case, does the first moment of consciousness come from all the four elements? Does it come from all the four elements? Okay, if we come from all the four elements, then if one element is missing, then the mind would disappear. And if you put all the four elements together, you would create a mind. Actually, I'm struggling with this one, Okay. Especially on the one that said if you have a combination. Okay. What I'm struggling is they say if the four elements are together, right, create the mind, the first moment of consciousness, our mind, then they say if you lose one element, then you will lose the mind. Yeah, it makes sense logically, I know, but I cannot see why. I cannot see that. Until now, so I cannot see, Okay. And they say, if all the four elements make the mind, then if each time you have all the four elements together in that kind of combination, you should be able to create a mind. That one I can still get it. I say, if it can, then the scientists would be able to create a mind, right? People keep the body, they do something, but you cannot create the mind. The person die already, you put back the component, put back the chemical, put back the four elements in that combination. You cannot, the mind cannot come back, cannot come. So there's something we don't know what is that. Right, so that one I can still, okay, I'm okay with that. Okay, so that is when you take the four elements together. Yeah. What if only one element? What if only one element? Then in that case, the mind should resemble the element. Why? We mentioned already, Ngelang Gigyu, the result must resemble the cause. There must be some similarity. But if you look at the four elements, just now we go through the four elements, right? Is there any way that the mind resemble the four elements? Is the mind wet? Is the mind hot? Is the mind like the atom, consists of the atoms? Okay. No. What is the definition of the mind? What is the definition of mind? Very important. This one you have to memorize. The mind is clear and aware. Clear. C-L-E-A-R. Clear. Clear means invisible. Cannot see. You cannot see. It's ineffable. It's aware, knowing, aware. The mind you cannot see, you cannot move, you cannot touch, you cannot taste, you cannot squish it, you cannot weigh it, you cannot split it, you cannot locate the mind. The mind hang around your body, but it is not restricted to this body. But where is your mind now? So because of that, then we can say that, yeah, it's like it is supporting, yeah, it affect, but it's not the ngelang gigyu. It is not the material cause because they're totally different. They're not the same. The cause does not resemble the result. The result doesn't resemble the cause. There's no similarities there. This only a lot of thinking for this part. I give you 30 seconds to think about that. Especially the four element, you need to understand the four elements, then only you'll be able to appreciate better why they don't resemble the mind. Yeah, I was struggling a lot on that also, because the first thing is I don't know about the four element. I don't know about the mind. Then how am I going to know whether they resemble or not? Whether there's any similarity or not? It seems to have, to me, initially, we will do some question later on. Yeah. Right. If you look at the four elements, we just now we go through the four elements. And if you think back about the definition of the mind is clear and aware. If you find it difficult, I just give you two words. Okay, it is crystal clear, ineffable, invisible, and aware. Keyword, clear and aware. Clear means that you cannot wait. You know, if you look at the four elements, somehow we can measure it, right? We can measure it, we can locate it, right? We can see it, or there's something that we can do to the physical thing. Whereas the mind is different. You can see the mind. You cannot locate the mind. You cannot see the mind. It's invisible, crystal clear. Therefore, for that reason, the result does not resemble the cause. There's no similarity. It is not the ngelang gigyu. The four element, either one of them is not ngelang gigyu, let alone four of them. Yeah, got one question to ask. Does the changes in the physical constituents affect the mind? Does the changes in the physical constituent affect the mind? Physical constituents is like the four elements, or it can be the sense power, or what, the physical thing. Does that affect the mind? Yeah. Okay. Yes. Yes. It affect the mind. It does affect the mind. Can Yes, they affect the mind. Yeah. I want you to think about that. I was struggling with this one also. They affect the mind. I'm not saying they're not affecting the mind. Okay. affect the mind, but they are the factor. Can they be a factor? Yes, they are the factor, but they are not ngalan gigyu. But they are not ngalan gigyu. There's changes in the physical constituent, whether your sense power or whether it is your elements, the 4 elements. Does that affect the mind? Yes, we cannot say no, they affect the mind, but those are the factor, they are the secondary factor. They are not the main material cause. They are not the ngalan gigyu. Does that make sense to you? With this question, I try to, because I was struggling with that also. Yes, KL Wong, the mind is a changing thing. There are many things it is changing, right? But we are trying to find out what is the material cause, the main thing that flop over into the result. Okay. There are other secondary factors. Remember the kin, they affect your tree, right? They affect your tree, but they are not the material cause. They are not the thing that flop over into the result. They are not the material cause, the main thing. Okay. Hi, Aishu. Okay, I was struggling with that, you see. Oh, that question, Angela. You wait until chapter 10. Okay. So I was really struggling. So when I was explaining to the students also, it's like, if you don't get it clear on that tiny line, that line, you get confused, Then you'll find that, I don't buy that. But that is a fine line, I was trying very, very hard. And I finally see, yeah, you cannot say they don't affect because every time, no, you say no, why no? But I can see like that, so then you tell me no, 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 I'm not saying it doesn't affect, they affect, but they are not the material cause. They are not the main thing that caused your first moment of consciousness. Go back to the tree planting from beginning. Yeah, the tree planting from beginning. Okay, the material cause that flop over into the result, and therefore the result must resemble the cause. There are similarities there. But I'm not talking about the kin. Yes, other thing like Kia Wong said, it's a changing thing. So you have the sunlight, you have the water. Yeah, they affect them. They become skinnier. Your tree very skinny. Okay. Your tree, no fruits or only the fruit is so small, right? Your tree is not very tall, it's very short. Okay, very few leaves only. Yeah. I won't answer that, Kia Wong, okay? Now we are trying to find the first moment of consciousness, the material cause. We are in the logic school, right? We are in the logic school. Yeah, and it helps a lot. Last time I don't understand why we want to go and study this thing, You tell about the higher middle way, it's just sits ripening moment by moment, moment by moment. Me and my world, me and my world, me and my world, me and my world. That is a higher middle way. Yeah. When we think of higher middle way, I think my teacher helped me a lot on understanding that. I always think this one, then this one ripen. There's a seed that ripen in my mind like that. But it's not. It's me and my world right there together. Me and my world. But we are now in the logic school. So put that aside. Here in the logic school, we are trying to investigate this moment of consciousness, the very first moment of consciousness in this life. Where does they come from? What is the ngalan gigyu? What is the material cause that flop over into this moment of consciousness? And this result must resemble the cause. There must be similarities. Okay, I give you another question. You please work on that one. I find for you the shortcut already. You work on that, then you will be able to see the difference. Another question. One more. Okay. Yeah, Jesslyn. So if you damage your sensory powers, if you damage your physical body, does the mind change? No. The content or the functioning is affected, but not the mind. What is the mind? The mind is the nature of the mind is to take on the quality of the thing that it perceives. So if you damage your sensory power, you damage your physical power, body, it is a factor. It is a kian. It is not the ngelen gigu. What is the mind? Clear and aware. Yeah, very good. Angela, Raymond, Jenny. Okay. So that is a very fine line, very fine line. You know, otherwise you cannot understand what they are talking about. All these things are like, wow, wow, why, you say you cannot see why they bring out that kind of thing. It is a kin, is a factor. I'm not saying when you damage your body, okay, or your sensory power is damaged, it 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 does affect your the functioning, the content, but it does not, but it's not the ngelang gigyu, it's not the material cause of your mind. It is not the ngelang gigyu of your mind. Okay, then we have one question number 4. One more question. Okay. So we can see the chemicals and the 4 elements, okay, happen to be present when the mind starts. Okay. When your mind start in this, the first moment of consciousness start, we can see the 4 elements. They are there, right? But they are not the Galen Gigyu. Why? Want to type your answer? The 4 elements, those chemical, yeah, we can see. Yeah. When the mind start, I can see those things, but they are not the Ngelang Gigyu, they are the Kian. Okay. Hmm. What about others? Want you to think, give you 1 minute to think about that. I want to look at the chat now, so I copy and put it in the space here so that if you still need to refer. Okay, I want to look at one by one the answer. Okay, Angela says second cause. We don't say second cause, Angela, then you'll get confused. We say secondary factor. Give it a different name. Huh? Then Raymond said they cannot produce the same mind. Yes, but why? Can one say because the mind is coming from mental thing? Correct. Yeah. So they don't resemble. Okay. They don't resemble. You can say relate to they don't resemble. Remember we say LNGQ, right? The mind doesn't resemble the four element. The four element doesn't resemble the mind. There's no similarities there. Okay. KL, okay. Mind come from our karma. Yes. But we are in the logic school. These are all karma also, but in a way that they explain. We are trying to, the material cause is also coming from our karma, okay? Yeah. We are just the factor, Richie say, correct? Yeah. Emerald say the mind doesn't depend on the physical matter. Or probably, so when the physical matter are destroyed, maybe the mind is affected but not destroyed. So the four elements are not Nyalang Gigyu. Correct. You are correct. But specifically for just now, my questions, yeah, we want to say the fact that even though I can see the four elements, okay, when I'm born that time, the first moment of consciousness that I have, I can see the four elements, they happen to be there, but they are not the Nyalang Gigyu. Because there's no similarities. Physical thing, mental thing cannot come from physical thing. The first moment of consciousness cannot come from the physical thing, the four elements. There's no similarities. They don't resemble. The mind does not, the mind in no way resemble the matter. Okay, Jasmine says seeds. Oh, yeah, they all come from our seeds, but yeah, we want try to apply what we are learning here. Zane said because they affect the mind. Yes, the four elements affect the mind, but they are not the Nyalang Gigyu. Yeah, and they cannot create my mind. Yes, they are not the same. There's no similarity. It doesn't resemble, so it is not the Nyalang Gigyu. Okay, I won't say four elements are secondary factor, correct. They are secondary factor. They are not the Nyalang Gigyu. They are not the material cause. They are not the main thing, or they are not the thing that flock over into the results. Okay. Material cause is a thing that the stuff that flock over into the result, and the result must resemble the cause. There must be similarities. Okay, so Angela, right. Then we find that we already eliminate here or everything here. If you find it difficult to understand, I can give you a shortcut, but don't go for the shortcut if you can, okay? Just that like physical thing have to come from physical thing, mental thing come from mental thing. So the moment of consciousness have to come from, cannot come from something physical. That is a shortcut from me for you. Okay. But try to follow the argument, the Kedrup J. We want to understand that, and it helps our mind to understand better. So since we cross out all these things, cross out, we know that physical thing cannot flock over into the mind, right? Because the result must resemble the cause. Okay, the mind, the first moment of consciousness have to resemble the cause. Where if for the physical thing, the mind don't resemble the cause at all. They are not the same thing. The mind is clear and aware. The physical thing would be consists of matter. So what is the Nyalangigu of the first moment of consciousness? What is the thing that flopped over into your mind? Was it your own mind or was it somebody else's mind? So we want to investigate. It seemed to me that it is somebody's mind, come from my parents, others here. Let's investigate. Yeah, I feel that they come from my parents. Okay, let's investigate now. Yeah, but before I learn all these things, I think yeah, after I cross already, I think come from my parents' mind. Because our parents give birth to us, right? So they, yeah, come from us, yeah. Okay. So can it come from our parents' mind or not? Can or not? Why cannot? Why cannot? We want to know why cannot, okay? Why cannot come from our parents' minds? Okay, we think about that. Okay, we have seen the situation. Oh, think about. Wait, Okay, Richie say my parents' mind is not my mind. But I thought my parents give birth to me. I take one part of their mind. Emerald said, I think an authentic mind or original mind, a mind not just belong to my own or others only. I don't quite get it. Okay. I don't quite get it. Sorry about that. You want to say something, Emerald? You want to unmute?
Yeah, I mean that my
Huh?
I mean that my I have that my related to my parents, related to my grandparents, and many minds of many others because that might have a own generations from me, my parent, grandparent, and grandparent, and have a many not just that my is not only belong to me or just belong to my parents only. There are many, like many minds included in that, I think.
Okay. Yeah. Something to
Yes.
think about. Okay, thanks for your sharing. So I like what Raymond put here. Not every child have the same thinking like their parents. Okay, we can see that what they're trying to put here, Kadrop J, is your first moment of consciousness is not coming from your parents' mind. It's for the fact that you can see that the child, sometimes the parents very intelligent, right? Have certain talent, but the child is not totally, no, autistic, yeah. Totally, they cannot, like maybe the parent is very artistic, but you see the child is totally zero, yeah, skill on that, zero talent. Yeah. And if you can reverse that, and you can see the mind, the parent is not very clever, or not very, I don't want to use the word, yeah. But then you see the child is super intelligent genius. So how could the mind come from the parent's mind, right? So for the fact, and maybe not so obvious, sometimes I can still want to argue with myself. I say, no, but you see, So I think another one that kind of convince me would be look at twins. Twins, I've seen the twins come from the same parents, right? But you see the mind is so different, you know, if it's coming from the parents, right? Then how come I've seen twins? Yeah, last time I taught kindergarten, right? So they are so different. So different. You couldn't believe that they are twins. Okay. Their behavior, their personality, their interests, yeah, their talent, totally different. That you won't believe that they are twins and they're coming from the same parents. So for that fact, we say that they don't resemble the parents' mind. So this is not the nyalang gigyu. Yeah, Kia Wong said, it come from parents' mind, then our mind now also resemble our parents' mind, just like what we mentioned just now. Okay, Zane say parents' mind is the secondary factor. Yeah, we can say it's a secondary factor, but it's not the main thing, the material cause. It's not the nyalang gigyu. Okay, for that fact, okay, so if we cancel that, da, that leads us to conclude the nyalang gigyu of our first moment of awareness come from the previous moment of awareness before this life. Before this life. So I just proved to you that you have a past life. And if I prove to you that you have one past life, I don't have to prove to you you have two past life, three past life, four past life. I don't have to prove that. You have countless of past life. And therefore your mind is beginningless and your mind is endless. And that is very, very, very profound. It's so profound. And in fact, we proved the Charvakas wrong. Remember the previous class? The Charvakas that says that, yeah, okay, the first cause of, you say, Buddhahood is compassion, and you need to develop this compassion over lifetimes. But you only have one life. So it's impossible for you to develop this thing called compassion. And so if we can, and this is so profound, and that shows that omniscience is possible. And therefore you can become a Sema Kebu. And we can become Sema Kebu. We go through logic to prove to ourselves, and it is as good as seeing it with our own eye. Remember, we say proving it with logic is as good as you see it with your own eyes. What is this reality? Class 2. Which reality is this? One, tell me. Past life? Future life? Do I have a past life? I would say it is a hidden reality. I would feel that it's hidden reality. Yeah, unless you will say that, oh, if you do this, then you get this past life. If you do this, then you get this, your life become like that. No? If you talk about that, in that context, you can say it's deeply hidden. You might be right, sometimes wording fail to deliver, right? Yeah. So it's okay if you have that, yeah. But if you are just talking about past life alone, it is a hidden reality. Yeah. But if you're talking about if you do this, then you get this life, then move to this life. Yeah, then you're right. Yeah. Okay, you're right. You're deeply hidden. Could be deeply hidden. Because it is a hidden reality. We cannot see with our eyes. Remember, we say we have to use deductive reasoning. Okay. Using deductive reasoning to prove to us that we have past life and therefore we have future life and therefore we can become Semakebu. And by proving it in that way, it is as good as you see it with your third eye. It's as good as you see it with your own eye. We are relating chapter 1 and the beginning chapter 2 here now. How we put them, how they make sense. That is very profound, really very profound. Even though I grew up in that culture, yeah, we say, we know, but we never really take it very seriously. By proving it makes you look at it in a different light, of implication. So our mind, mind stream, our mind is like a mind stream, like a long spaghetti. Yeah, our stream of consciousness, like a spaghetti, a mind stream. Do we accept this idea of a stream of consciousness, mind stream? Actually, we do, How to prove that? How to prove that we actually believe that? It's like our mind, I find that our mind is just like very selective, Oh, this is what I want to believe. Okay, this one I don't want to believe. I don't. Actually, it's the same thing. Oh, yeah, not yet proved that, yeah. We believe our mind is in a mind stream, yeah, much more confusing. See, I don't understand what you say. You want to unmute or you want to type based on past experience? Yeah. We believe our mind stream continue, right? If not, then why would we send our kids to school? If their mind stream never continue, you send them out of school for what? Send them to school because they go kindergarten, they learn something that will help them. Then when they go to primary school, right, they know how to calculate, know how to write, how to read, And then that if they go for tuition, this will help them. Then they can score better, they can do well, right? So we actually accept that our mind stream continue. But whether does it continue more than one lifetime, we all prove to ourselves where our mind come from. Okay, so I have this one. So what if my mind never end and continue? When the car broke down, did the driver die? The driver is not dead. The driver can come out from the car. So it is in our interest to clean out our mind. Slowly, slowly, I'm cleaning out my mind now. Should not be slowly, surely should be faster and faster. But what if the mind continue? The mind stream continue. Okay, I'm throwing this question to you. When the car broke down, did the driver die? No, the driver can always come out and drive another car. So if the mind stream continue, then it is in our interest to clean that. Yeah. Yes, Richie say next slide. Okay, now I throw another question. The other way around. Just like I say, what if the mind continue, right? What if the mind doesn't continue? Then there's no consequences to your action. You can do what you want. That's fair or not? Then there's no potential for you to become better. Then you cannot develop compassion over lifetime. Then there is no Buddhahood. Right? That one just for fun only, yeah? Okay. It's not in your question, just for us to think about that. Yeah. So let's pick on this one rather the other one, the other extreme. I said one is what if the mind never end and it continue? When the car break down, the driver is not dead. The driver can always come out. Then in that case, it is our interest. It is really in our interest to clean our mind, clean up our mind. We don't clean up, it will be like that, you know. Okay, let's look at the question. Memorization assignment. Memorize the tree of possibility for this proof, which is just now the tree. Which tree is that? The one that we eliminate this tree. Okay. So this is your memorization. Meditation assignment. Before you heard about rebirth, you had a belief about where your mind came from. Where does this belief fit in the tree of possibilities? Where your mind fits. Yeah, where you think your mind comes from, you can do that in your own meditation. There's no right and wrong answer. You just analyze it, you know, from different angle. Okay, and that wraps up our class today. We'll do a closing for that. And then, okay, so I invite you to close your eyes. Think about the goodness that we have just collected, the extraordinary goodness, and boost by our extraordinary motivation that we promise to use what we are going to learn today to help create the perfect world. And that is so powerful. And recall our goal. And this will help us to get from where we are right now with the challenges in life to reach the perfect world that we want to see. And that is possible because if everything is empty, then it's possible. This is coming from our mental seeds. And therefore we can become Sema Kebu. Because we have proved to ourselves that we have more than one life. Our mind is beginningless and our mind is endless. And therefore, we can develop this compassion, the first cause for Buddhahood. We can. It's possible. because everything is coming from mental seeds. Yeah, so be very, very happy with yourself. And let's open your eyes when you're done. Yay.
Today very heavy.